You're listening to an artist spotlight by Soundlink Magazine, featuring What We Do in Secret.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is Trenton with SoundlinkMagazine.com. Here on the show today, we have Clay Crenshaw, a personal buddy of mine, and the guitarist for What We Do in Secret. And if you've seen Norma Jean in the past couple of weeks or months or whatever, he's been on stage with them as well. Clay, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Trenton?
Hey, what's
Good
up,
to talk
buddy?
to you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Apologies in advance that I'm a little sick. I sound kind of like a boot, but
No, you
I'll
sound
be
good.
all right.
You sound good. You sound good. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. You are a busy man, obviously. I've known you for a couple of years, and so I've followed you, what you do outside of music as well. And you are also a married man. Shout out to Abby. And so
What's up, Abby? My wife.
So yeah, you have all this stuff going on and everything, but your record is finally out with What We Do in Secret. You're on FaceTime Records, but I think the cool thing is a lot of people might see it as like, oh, cool, they signed this new band. Their record's out on this label. Let's go listen to them. Whereas, this is sort of like, I guess, your first big record, but you've been working on it for a few years now, and
Yeah.
when it's finally released, is on a storied label like Facedown. So I guess walk us through and walk the people through on this band and your background with it and everything, and this whole I guess story that you guys have.
Sure, man. So last month marked my 6-year anniversary of being in What We Do in Secret. I'm not technically an original member, but I guess I might as well be at this point. I mixed the first EP that you kind of have to look for because we don't have it up on Spotify and stuff, but I did play on the second EP we put out 5 years ago, which blows my mind. And we have been working on this record that just came out for a long time. There were a lot of member changes, a lot of, going back and forth on what we wanted the sound to be. We ended up switching to 7-string guitars and, waffling on tunings and all that stuff. But, so we started formally pre-producing this album, probably 2 years ago. We started formally tracking it a year ago plus. So a lot of the tracks that you hear, a lot of the guitar stuff was done August of 2018. So we've taken our sweet time for sure. We had member changes and job changes and family stuff going on that I guess would explain that a little bit. And the age-old story is that your debut release takes a long time and your sophomore release has to be cranked out much quicker, and that we definitely fit that mold for sure. It just took us some time, especially with us not knowing if this was going to be a legitimate venture because we all have bills to pay and everything, so we had to release it on our own time to make sure we're taking care of everything. And lo and behold, right when it was ready to release, Jason hit us up, and I'm unbelievably thankful that we got to put the album out on Facedown. Facedown is immeasurably valuable to me, and I can speak for the other guys in my band to say the same. And I've got a lot of Facedown vinyl sitting at my house and everything. So I grew up on Facedown, and getting to settle into the family has been awesome, and we're very excited to have this record out.
Yeah, so you said Jason hit you up and everything. So, with you guys working on this, I remember you guys put up Blackout a year ago, and we covered it on our side, and you guys, I think, dropped another single after that. So did he just hear the songs and thought they were really good and wanted to give you guys a shot, or how did he just reach out to you guys to ask you guys to join the family?
So, Blackout actually came out Halloween 2 years ago,
oh, wow.
which is insane to me. Yes,
2 years, not a year
October
ago.
31st, 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, not to correct you or whatever, but it's crazy that it's been that long in the making because we did re-record and retrack Blackout for the new album. And so we had sort of had a little bit of a rapport with Jason because we did send him our last EP just to get his thoughts on it. We knew it was too late with it being released for it to get picked up, but we knew he was going to be one of the people that we would shop the new album to. So we just wanted to hear his thoughts. He had some constructive feedback. We had Jim Hughes do some design work for us right after that, right around the time the Blackout released. He did some branding for us. He ended up becoming employed by Face Sound, so we sort of had a foot in the door there. But he actually emailed us because of Blackout and just said he liked it and had seen us posting some Facebook statuses talking about, yeah, we're starting to get some early mixes back and we're really happy about it. And he said, hey, you know, do you have anything I can hear? And we were just starting to get mastering revisions back. The earliest stuff that we sent him is actually prior to what ended up being on the record. We had some mastering revisions for sure, but I guess he liked what he heard despite the revisions we needed and offered us a deal. So we signed without hesitation, without shopping to any further labels, because this was in the middle of Josh changing jobs. Our singer Josh, he took a job that he didn't know would be allowing for touring and stuff, and this was right around the time that I got the call from Norma Jean to do a little bit more active touring than I was used to. So we knew that we did not need to look a gift horse in the mouth and say, hang on, wait up, we're going to shop this around. We knew that if somebody considered us marketable enough to go for it, we were going to say yes, because we knew we weren't going to be able to hit the road as hard as we probably would have liked. By the way, it's starting to rain really hard, and I'm sitting in my car, so apologies if it messes up the audio. That's about it, man. Jason hit us up, and we just went for it, dude. It was awesome. It's been really cool. So shout out to Jason Dunn for believing in us, for sure.
Yeah, so here comes the cliche part about it, because obviously you're on Face Down. Face Down, unlike Tooth and Nail, which signs non-Christian bands and they're not necessarily a Christian label, Face Down seems to be exclusively a Christian label for, you know, bands, you know, with that, you know, Christian label or whatever, promoting whatever it be ministry or just, you know, hey, you know, we're a Christian band, you know, this is what we believe kind of thing. So where do you guys fall in line with that, and what kind of, like, I guess the concepts and themes can people hear about on this record? I know there's some songs about addiction and that kind of thing on there, but I guess overall, you know, where does What We Do in Secret fit in with the overall message that Face Down tries to present through its bands?
Sure. So you're right. Face Down does sign and promote very outspoken Christian bands, and What We Do in Secret definitely fits that mold. We are very much a both Christian band and ministry-based band. We do share the gospel from stage almost every show. If it's going to be forced, we don't. But our singer Josh feels very strongly about that, and he's the one with the microphone. I'm happy to support. We are very much a Christian band and an evangelizing band. I don't even know how much Jason knew that. I think he probably knew that's true to an extent.
I've known you for a few years, and I didn't even know that. I know that you're a Christian and everything, but I didn't know, like, your band was, like, you know, evangelical in that way with that. So I just learned something new about you.
There we go. Yeah. So What We Do in Secret certainly does evangelize from stage. I leave a lot of that to Josh, but I'm also happy to talk if anything comes up off stage as well. I'm just the guy with the guitar. But we do present the gospel from stage, and yeah, we are very much an outspoken Christian band, not afraid of it, and that's how we roll.
All right, awesome. I think another thing too is, like, I'm sure, you know, from different Facebook groups you've seen my friends in a band called Empty who just got signed to Solid State and put out a record. So it's like both these labels just, you know, kind of like picked up younger bands of guys that I've known for a couple of years. You know, Empty a little bit, you know, more personal as they're from down the road from me, but still, it's like these storied bands. I mean, these storied labels are needing these younger bands to, I guess, come in and be the next wave of that. So I mean, who knows? One day you guys could be like the next For Today or something, you know, carrying that same kind of torch. But
that's actually exactly what I was trying to say, and thank you for refreshing my memory. We are very much along the lines of For Today, Wolf at the Gate, that kind of thing in how we do speak from stage between songs, and we don't apologize for it. And you know, we bring our songs too, so you're not getting ripped off from seeing a rock show. But we're going to tell you what we're about at the same time. So, and that's our boy Josh doing a lot of that, and I back him up. So
awesome. Now, something about the whole Norma Jean thing is you grew up listening to them. We all did. I'm sure you learned some of their songs in high school on guitar. But playing them on tour, I'm sure it's kind of like this, it's not the same, but it kind of is. Like, you're still kind of like covering, these songs that you've listened to for years, except, you're actually in the band performing them for people. But with their new record, All Hail, I say they because I know Matt and Corey wrote it, basically. But
yeah.
when they were releasing it and everything, and it was still new, a lot of the songs haven't been played live, you were learning them as they were performing them, but they still weren't your songs, if that makes any sense. And so, like, people were getting excited for these new songs, the energy, hearing them. I'm sure Corey and Matt were excited to play them live, but did that kind of like fuel your eagerness to get this out so you could play your songs live? You know what I mean? So instead of playing, another band's new songs, you're playing, I mean, you're part of the band, but you get what I'm saying here, but like,
yeah,
but like playing, What We Do in Secret songs live versus, new Norma Jean songs.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird hand-in-hand type thing. We had a few singles drop while I was, I'll modify my pronouns here because we do have to be clear. We did have a few What We Do in Secret singles drop as I was on the road with Norma Jean, and I was not part of recording that album. Corey, Matt, and let's not forget Grayson. Grayson actually contributed a very significant portion of the songwriting to this album.
Yeah.
I
blanked out on his name, so that's why I didn't want to be
disrespectful. It's all good. So we got Corey, Matt, and Grayson. Jeff, who was formerly in the band, was a big part of it, and Corey's brother, Matt, who is not in the band but did some behind-the-scenes drum production and sample production and everything. They all had a huge hand in that. So I was in a backseat, so to speak, with the release itself, even though I was learning the songs prior to their release and playing them live prior and during the release. But it was super cool to just jump in and be part of that. All anyone asked of me was just to come in and play the stuff. It wasn't weird at all. I got to treat them like my songs, even though they weren't my intellectual property. I was able to share in that release by just learning my part, staying in my lane, and playing it, and seeing how cool it was to play them live. A lot of those songs are just so fun to play live. And then, like you said, like I was on the road with Norma right when the What We Do in Secret album dropped, and I literally had my other guitar out with me on the road to make sure I was ready for the release show, which happened like 5 days after I got home from 6 weeks of touring with Norma Jean. So like it all really coalesced really nicely right at once, and it was super fun. It was demanding, but it was also very rewarding because I got to see both releases happening in pretty quick succession. Like I said, I wasn't as much part of the Norma Jean release other than being a live player for the stuff, but it felt very real to me at the same time, and I got to watch these guys celebrate all of their hard work and also contribute and also enjoy a release of another band on another label, and it was a crazy storm of emotions for sure, but it was a lot of fun.
Now, if you don't mind me asking this part, should you go on and become a future contributing member of Norma Jean and be in What We Do in Secret, are there any, like, I guess, label conflicts in saying that you can't, be on two different labels, writing for two different bands or anything like that? Or is Face Down like, oh, that's cool if that happens, you can, we don't care about that or anything if you can talk about that kind of contract stuff?
Yeah, I don't mind talking about that at all, and that was actually a major part of the questions I had before I signed with Face Down. I had to run all of that by Jason and just say, hey, like, this is what's going on. This is going to be a job for me. I need to make sure there are no conflicts before I sign this contract because I just wasn't going to sign. I was going to let Josh and Frankie sign to let What We Do in Secret be a Face Down band, but there's actually nothing in the language of the contract that binds me as a person to a record deal that doesn't allow me to be playing with other bands on other labels. The contract didn't go that far. Jason is arguably the most artist-friendly label owner in the history of anyone who's in the industry, at least right now, and he was very quick to reassure me that I didn't need to worry about a conflict with that. Norma Jean obviously tours a little bit more actively than What We Do in Secret, but I didn't have to hesitate to sign that contract. What We Do in Secret as an artist belongs to Face Down as far as the recordings for this album and one more. And if you think about it, I was too late to the party with Norma Jean to even be on the current Solid State deal. So there is literally no conflict right now. Of course, I hope to write material that the Norma Jean guys love and accept and put on the next album. But even if they do, no conflict. I'm not bound as an individual to my Face Down deal, and I just get to be fortunate enough to get to write with both and play with both and tour with both, and that's it.
Nice.
No conflict at all.
Nice.
Super stoked about that.
Yeah, one thing about Jason is, like, even with all these other labels who have, really good, people running them, like we all listen to the label podcast. That when I by all, I mean you and I, and we hear Brandon on there a lot, and he's a good guy, but you still have these bands pop up occasionally, talking about tooth and nail contracts. Well, with Face Down, it's like that's the one label I've never really heard a current band, ex band, ever talk about, not getting what they were owed or they got screwed over. It's like every label, they could be the best label in the world, and they're still that one band that'll say something like that. But like Face Down and Jason is like one label, one guy that I have really never heard anything about that about. So I guess he really is doing something right over there.
There is nothing ill to say about the guy. He is very Christ-like in his character and his reputation, and it's just not within his personality to hide any sneaky language in his contracts or screw his bands over. He's a band dad in a lot of ways, and I still haven't met him in person, but I am obviously very familiar with his work, and we talked at length before we signed, and I just love the guy to death. It's very obvious that he cares about his artists, and I think he has a very uncommon and unprecedented amount of love for his artists, and it shows in his track record. That's one of the reasons we were able to sign as quickly as we did. We didn't hold the process up with legal counsel and all that because we knew he was trustworthy, and he is. He just is.
Awesome. Well, one more question. I'll let you get out of here, get you on with your day. Any touring coming up with What We Do in Secret, and where can people find you guys? If you're, obviously it'll be for 2020 because 2019 is basically done at this point. So, yeah, for 2020, if you can talk about anything real quick, where can people see you guys, or who will you guys be going out with?
It blows my mind that this year's almost over. But, yeah, so I can't say anything definite about What We Do in Secret touring, but I do know that it is a shared goal. There are complications. We have to work around the Norma Jean schedule, and even that isn't always as firm as it could be for me to start planning for, to juggle both.
Yeah.
But we're road ready. We have a van, we have a trailer, we have our gear, we have everything we need. Frankie, our drummer, lived in Memphis for a while, moved back up to Connecticut with his family. He's about to move back to Memphis, and we're technically a three-piece. We would just have to find a touring bass player. But we all do share the goal of touring early to mid-next year. Josh just has to figure some things out with the job he recently took, and I just have to work it around my current touring schedule. But we do hope to get on the road. There are just 100% transparency. There are no talks of any cool, support tours or anything like that right now. But I do have a feeling that those talks will come up and that we'll get to say yes to something. And we all definitely want to get on the road, and I think we will. So just a couple things to line up first, but you can expect some touring from What We Do in Secret.
All right, awesome. And Repose is out now on Face Down. Everybody can go get it at Merch Down or stream it. I have the vinyl. It's awesome. Go support this band. And Clay, thanks for your time today.
Trenton, it has been a blast, dude. I have to mention that Face Down is in the middle of a Thanksgiving sale. Our CDs are as low as $3. Our shirts as low as $10. Our vinyls as low as $12, I think. So it's a good time to hop on it if y'all want to check out our music.
Go get
and I really appreciate it. We're still in our first week, so any sales we can get mean the absolute world. And Trenton, this has been the best opportunity